God of War Ragnarok is the end of the Norse mythology saga, we are told. So that means all of our questions from both God of War 2018 and Ragnarok have been fully answered, right?
No.
And far from it. While I and many others are loving the highly anticipated sequel to one of the greatest games ever made, they left some pretty major questions unanswered that all of us hardcore fans were praying would be answered once and for all in a nice, satisfying way, but no. And it's taken me a while to get my thoughts together, but I just have to get my frustrations out there, so buckle up. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, and if you have any other questions you felt left you with big blue balls, leave them in the comment section below. Okay, number one on my personal list is the entire Faye storyline is still a huge question mark. Ask anyone who's been watching my videos, my number one anticipated moment since the end of God of War 2018 was meeting Faye for the first time in some sort of memory/flashback sequence. To see these two great warriors who spark these adventures we go on and eventually bring about the end of Odin's cruel rule. It sounded set up to be an amazing trip down memory lane. And don't get me wrong, in God of War Ragnarok, the first time that we meet Faye, it was great. And each memory Kratos had after that had solid emotional moments in them. But it didn't explain the things that we wanted to know. We don't see their first meeting and exactly how a Spartan god with amazingly powerful blades trying to escape everything he did in his past reacts to a warrioress such as Laufey the Just with an equally powerful frost axe. We don't see them building a home together. We don't find out what kills her to start the events of 2018, and we never see Faye and Atreus together either. I mean, yeah, we see baby Atreus, but that's not the same thing. Atreus' mother he spoke so highly of and misses so much, and we don't even get a glimpse of their past together. Why? Atreus loved her so much, and we didn't even get to see what she was like as a mother to Kratos' child. It's all just a big question mark. And then to add to all of the questions, in the crater area of Vanaheim, we get a nice story set of side quests that reveal that Faye met Thor here in Vanaheim and fought and left a similar frozen lightning bolt from the sky the exact way Kratos did in our first fight with Thor in Midgard.
This feels familiar. What? Don't matter.
But then, that's it. Nothing further comes from it. At the beginning of these dream sequences, it seemed like they were setting something up. The first memory Kratos has of Faye ends with what seems like a tease when she puts her hand on his head and says, "There's much to be done," and then pushes him out of the dream, as if she was somehow speaking to him from beyond the grave, communicating with Kratos in the here and now. And it looked super intriguing. I was on the edge of my seat thinking, oh my god, what does that mean? My mind was going crazy. And Kratos is visibly confused by it too. But nothing comes of it. It is all very confusing and only made extra confusing when you think about all the other things like how Faye's ashes are glowing at the end of God of War 2018 and how we thought that that must mean something, like maybe she's coming back or maybe her ashes revive the giants that we see dead on the mountains or something. But no! All we really have now is a face to go with the stories that we are told of her. And I'm not gonna lie, that bothers me a little bit. I still love the game, but that bothers me. Ah, God. Okay, let's move on to my personal second biggest question they didn't answer. In God of War Ragnarok, we still don't know how Kratos got to Midgard. I am fully aware that there is a 4-comic series that lightly talks about Kratos' journey from Greece to Scandinavia, where we begin this story. It says what he did in between, but it doesn't really tell you how he got to Scandinavia, how he got to the area that we start in God of War 2018. In any case, those are comics, and that isn't the same as revealing or explaining how it all happened in the core games. If you are going to have this Kratos be the same Kratos from before, the one that took out the entire Greek pantheon and have deep connections to his past with his blades of chaos and Athena hallucinations, etc., you have to explain to people how he got there. At least briefly, and in God of War Ragnarok, it's not even mentioned. I made a theory video on how Kratos got to Midgard using the God of War 2018 novelization book as a reference reference where they tease, in a very cool way, a cloaked woman in the woods with 3 wolves who attack him at her command, who then drag him away, and then he regains consciousness and he finds himself in Scandinavia. It was a very cool and mysterious memory Kratos had and relived in a dream one night. I had a big old theory that maybe that was Faye commanding those wolves and she brought him to Midgard to help kill Odin and free the realms from his tyranny. You can check out that video by clicking up here. But in God of War Ragnarok, it is never brought up, never even mentioned. We know just as much about Kratos and how he got to the Norse lands now as we did when we first got the reveal of the God of War 2018 reboot on the stage at E3. I'm not gonna lie, that one bugs me as well. Number 3 on my list is who blew the freaking horn? This question has plagued us God of War fans for years now. The 2018 game specifically calls out and draws your attention to the fact that someone who would want to talk to Jormungandr, the World Serpent, blew the horn for some unknown reason. Cory Borlog back in the day hinted that we would find out who blew that horn in Ragnarok, and here we are years later with not a single lead on who it was or why. I had my theory that it was Agroboda and I made a whole video on it tying it into a bunch of other theories and I felt super proud about it, but there's no way to know if that's true. Some people took a shot in the dark and thought it was Gjallarhorn that Kratos blew to open up all the realms at the beginning of Ragnarok, echoing through time. A weird one because time was never mentioned when discussing Gjallarhorn, so it's an odd pull there, and Gjallarhorn sounded very different to the horn that we heard in 2018. But I get what people were thinking in terms of it was the only horn blown in the game, so it must be connected somehow, right? Right, guys? They wouldn't leave us with this big burning question unanswered, right? Sigh. Well, anyway, Cory Borlog did come to Twitter and he did debunk that theory as well. So we're back to square God of War 2018. And number 4 on my list. This final one is a new one and it only bugs me because it's just one other thing, just one more huge thing to add to the pile of unanswered questions. What the hell does the mask actually do and what is in that rift? The whole game, Odin is chasing after these mask pieces that we help him find. And all that we know is that he is convinced that A, this rift holds the knowledge of the universe, every answer to every question imaginable in all of the known realms, every answer you could possibly want, with absolutely zero proof whatsoever. He just says that that's what it holds and that's it. And B, the only way to look into this rift and to see all of this knowledge is via a mask that's scattered into pieces around the Norse realms, and Atreus is the perfect person to find them. Well, isn't that lucky? Oh, but here's the thing. We never get to see inside the rift or find out if Odin's claims of infinite knowledge were actually true. We're just left at the end of the game with a disappearing rift and a broken mask. I get it, it was the MacGuffin, it's the thing that we're chasing to move the story along, but all because Atreus breaks the mask and because all that knowledge obtained is dangerous or whatever Kratos says is, no one. Not having a concrete definitive answer as to what the rift was or did or even tease something to come in a future game was quite infuriating. Yes, it was. Guys, those were just 4 of my top questions that were left unanswered after God of War Ragnarok. Please let me know in the comment section if you have any more burning questions, anything that you was like, okay, what? I would really like to hear them. Thank you guys for being so supportive recently and hanging in with me with my real life problems and not being able to upload recently. Hopefully I'll be back and hopefully I'll be making some fun videos like this. I hope you enjoyed it. Catch you guys all in the next one.